Hey guys, today's video is going to be all about blackout tattoos. Now, I did a blackout tattoo chat with you guys about, I don't know, just over a month ago now, but I've decided to do a further Q&A because I've had so many of you asking me questions and sending me messages, mostly on Instagram, just asking me about it. So today I've decided I'm going to answer some of your most asked questions. Now, without a shadow of a doubt, the question that I get asked the most is, what does my tattoo cover up? Now, from the top all the way down to literally my wrist, I haven't got anything covered up. This is literally just what I wanted to have done. The only part, actually that is a kind of a lie, the only part that is a cover up is under here. This was my first ever tattoo that I got, and it was a Marilyn Manson dedication piece. It was the Eat Me, Drink Me heart, and it also said Eat Me, Drink Me. Now, if you watched my last video, my tattoo chat about my blackout, then you'll already know that. But that's still, to date, my most asked question. And the only other part of this that is a cover-up is I had two roses on my hand that kind of stemmed from here and here and went down like here. And obviously they were under this part. But other than that, that's the only part of me that is of this that is a cover-up. Now, the most popular reason that people get blackout tattoos, I know, are for cover-ups, but I personally just really love the way that they look, so I thought, why not? The second most asked question I get is it more painful than a normal tattoo? Now, I'm sure different people will tell you different things, but in my own personal experience, I find that it's a bit more traumatic to the skin in terms of, you know, it's not just a case of like you shade it a bit and then it's done. You have to keep going until it's obviously solid black, and I swell up a lot. So when I have it done, I'd say that, you know, my skin is a lot more swollen and it's a lot more tender while it's healing. But I don't know, I think, you know, all tattoos obviously hurt to some degree, but I wouldn't say it was excruciating. But yeah, I don't know. Depends if you find line work or shading or block. I'd say shading isn't really that bad at all, but block colour, whether that's blue, green, black, whatever, that hurts, obviously, in my opinion, a lot more than line work, for example. That actually leads me on to the next question quite well, because the next thing that I always get asked is what part of my blackout arm hurt the most, and the answer is this, in between my finger webbing. That was easily the most painful part of my tattoo. All the rest of it, I really didn't think it was that bad, in all honesty. Obviously, like inside, outside the elbow doesn't feel that nice, but I'd actually say up here is a little bit more tender. As you can see, I've actually stopped here. I've still got to finish this armpit, but I'm going to go for something a little bit like this again. So yeah, I would say that finger webbing for me so far on this arm has been the most painful part. And I've also had quite a lot of you ask me whether people get solid tattoos in different colours or if it's just sort of blackout. Now, this is something that I've actually decided to have a little look into, because the answer before, I actually had no idea. But there's a guy I saw on Instagram, probably should have remembered his tag to give him a shout out, but he's coloured himself in pure solid blue. So I guess some people do it with other colours. I mean, black is, without a shadow of a doubt, my favourite colour anyway, so I personally wouldn't have anything like that, but, you know, each to their own. I've seen somebody do it now, so I guess there will be some people walking around with like blue arms or like green arms or something like that, and to those people I say fair play, because each to their own. But for me personally, not really. Another thing that I get asked a lot is, am I reworking any of my arm? And the answer is yes. I'm constantly reworking my tattoos and thinking of new ideas and just thinking maybe I should have this instead. I mean, I get a lot of people copy my tattoos and ask me for pictures of my tattoos so that they can use it as a stencil and weird things like that all the time. So I do try and constantly mix it up a little bit, but obviously there's only so much that I can do. But one thing that I'm thinking about doing next year, or actually now this year, is I'm going to get rid of this, black over it, and I'm thinking about putting some white work bugs down my arm. I'm also really tempted to get rid of my moon and just black solidly up to my fingertips on my thumb and my fingers, and then put something in white work on my hand, and then I can have writing on my fingers, like positive and negative. But that's still in the pipeline as of yet. But yeah, I'm thinking about doing that potentially this year. I might keep it for a little bit longer, but I'm definitely going to rework that. I also need to rework my elbow because it's really, really patchy. And I've got a little bit in here as well that's a bit patchy. And my entire hand just needs redoing again. I think I'm definitely going to get that done with a coil next time though, because I've had it done twice solidly and I've had it lined 3 times now with a rotary and it's just not holding. The guy that did it, he also did the insides of my fingers and they're just not holding either. So I think, in all honesty, I need a harder hitting machine. I need to get it done with a coil. All the coil tattoos that I've had done haven't fallen out at all. So I'm thinking I'm going to stop getting people to use rotary machines on me. I just personally don't think that they're as hard hitting. They just don't last as well. But moving on to the next question, I get asked a lot if I'm going to have any more white work in my tattoos. Now obviously I've just told you guys that I'm thinking about putting some more white work here, but the only white work I've got at the moment is this split rose, but again that needs going over again as well. And I've got this heart here which has been hit twice now with white ink, and I actually think it looks really cool. It's actually one of my favourite tattoos that I've got. Yeah, so I'm probably going to add some more white work to it, but the white work that I do add needs hitting like at least twice just to make it bold enough to stand out, but probably really needs about 3 hits just to make it really, really solid. I also get asked a lot, which to be honest probably should have been one of the first questions that I answered, is why? Now, the reason I got a blackout tattoo is just because I personally love the way it looks. If you watch my previous tattoo chat about blackout tattoos, then you'll know that I don't really like tattoos that are patchy and not really saturated and cover a lot of skin. I don't really think it counts if you've got a few tattoos on your arm. You can't really call it a sleeve. Like, for me, this just about counts as a sleeve because I've got quite a lot of skin in it. So I'd say this isn't a very solid sleeve. I prefer things that are really, really solid. So that's part of the reason why I got it. And I also follow the Brutal Black project pretty closely, and I thought that looked absolutely amazing. So it was kind of inspired by that. If you guys don't know what that is, you should definitely go and check it out. Check them out on YouTube, Instagram, all their social media platforms. It's really, really, really cool. So yeah, mine was half inspired by that, and also just because it is my favourite style of tattooing. I just think it looks amazing. I've definitely got some more to come, which I'm really excited by as well. But yeah, I just think, why not? You know, everyone's got their own favourite style, whether that's traditional, like neo-trad, like Japanese, whatever. It's just my thing. I love black work and I love blackout, so that's pretty much why I got it. Yeah, again, isn't a cover-up, so that's my personal reason for getting it. And lastly, the last question I'm going to answer is about cost. Now, I don't think you necessarily have to pay more for a better tattoo. I mean, my previous artist used to charge me 420 quid for a day session, and I now go to somebody that charges me £250 for a day session, and the person that charges me £250 is actually tenfold better a tattoo artist. So I don't think you necessarily pay for quality. You sometimes do, don't get me wrong. Like, there's another person that I want to get tattooed by, and they've quoted me £700 for a piece, and I'm more than happy to pay that because I think their work is absolutely incredible. So you do sometimes pay for quality, but not always. So I would try not to get too caught out by somebody just trying to overcharge you and make the most money out of you as possible. But my sleeve in total, I mean, I probably did it in about 6 sessions. Obviously I actually started in the middle here, and I already had that tattoo, so I went from here and blacked out to here, and then I blacked out the back to here, and then I came back and did this front bit when I did these pieces as well, and then it was kind of just like filling in the odd gaps because obviously I had this done as well, but I think it was done in about 6 sessions, but obviously I've had to have reworks and a few touch-ups and stuff like that. But yeah, so far about 6, but obviously I'm not finished with it yet because I still need to do my armpit, still need to rework my hand, whether I keep the moon or not, it needs reworking, and the elbow does as well. So I don't know, I think a blackout tattoo is quite a commitment because it constantly needs reworking and you will have to fill in bits over it. And you know, to keep it looking 100% solid, you've got to really look after it as well. But yeah, those are my most asked tattoo blackout questions. If you guys have any more tattoo questions for me or anything like that, send me a DM on Instagram and I will save it and I will keep it in a little log, which is what I've done with these. My most asked questions or any that I just think are particularly interesting, I will answer in my next tattoo Q&A. But for now, I will see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.